I'm sure you guys are thrilled to find out that this is not going to be a Fox body video, but I thought this would be pretty cool to do a video on. So what we have is we have a vintage Radio Shack RC car. Yeah, I had one of these when I was a kid, and then somehow it got lost, and then I found this one on eBay, and I overpaid for it for sure. But the thing is it's extremely slow. The steering only works half the time. It's really glitchy, and it's not fun to play with or anything like that. I mean, so the plan is this. I have this other RC boat here that was my son's from a while back, and it has a brushless motor, a Lipo, a speed controller, a receiver, and another servo. Now this is all like mini version of what, like, you know, what you would see in like a normal like 10th scale RC car. This gets dark. Like a 10th scale RC car. So the plan is to put this brushless motor, this servo, speed controller, all this Lipo, and put it in here. So I went ahead and took the screws off of this thing, and check this out. This is some seriously good, like, let me turn the light on. So yeah, check this out. This is like some amazing engineering that was going on back in like '89 at Radio Shack. Okay, so we have wires just everywhere. No telling where they go. Yeah, just, I mean, basically, you know, like high level soldering and high level, you know, like military spec wiring here. So, but yeah, I kid. The thing is like all this, what's funny is like all this mess here and all this board with all these components does the same thing that this little tiny little ESC does right here, and this receiver. So these two little things here are the same as this big mess of wires and all that. So, and the motor itself seems to be around the same size. This is actually probably smaller. And then the battery, I'm not sure where I can put the battery. I'll probably put the battery in here and then just close this on it. But yeah, I thought this would be a cool little project, and I imagine it's gonna just rip, probably rip gears. So these plastic gears here, I'm not sure if they'll survive or not. But anyway, so yeah, let me start taking this apart. All right, so I got the entire like drivetrain that came out of this thing. It actually does. It is like a diff, you know. It's like an open diff, so it does. You know, I guess so. It turns. It's not like a posi traction or anything like that. But yeah. So I need to figure out how to get these wheels off. In order to get to the motor and those screws, this has to come apart somehow. I wonder if it was like pressed on. Alright, so this thing has like a couple of like metal tabs here and here that kind of, you have to, looks like, close them together in order to get this thing off. Yep. So I may have to just like split this apart, these two pieces of metal, just split them apart in order to get this counter shaft off. And then I can get to the motor without having to take anything else apart. Yep. Now I can get that gear off. I guess that you would call that like an idler gear that connects the pinion to the differential gear. So yeah, I just had to basically like kind of bend that out of the way to get the shaft out, and then when I put it back together, I'll just bend it back, and this top plate will go back on to hold it in place. So now I can get to the motor. We can take the motor off. Okay. Alright guys, this is alright guys, so I got the the motor installed in the actual like drivetrain of this thing. That's gonna go in back in here. So yeah, let me just show you how it runs right now. This thing is gonna absolutely shred tires. Yeah, this is a 2200 kV motor and a 3S Lipo on this thing here. Okay, that is like significantly faster than what it was before. So this is going to be interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can mount this back in here and try to remove these old electronics here. And then we have to figure out a way to get the servo here in place of this one. I don't know how I'm going to do that. That's pretty janky. So all right, so let me get on it and I'll see what I can do to get this all back together. So yeah, check out the way these servos used to be made from Radio Shack, old school stuff here. It's like it's an actual motor in there, like you would like a regular motor, like the motor in the back, and they somehow gear it so that it'll work to do the steering. Pretty crazy. All right, so I rigged up. I had an old Team Losi servo arm that I rigged up onto this servo. And that's gonna, and then I put some like spacers and a nut on there to try to get it to work right there. So you see it needs a little bit of a play. Kind of like, I guess, kind of like you'd call like a servo saver, because you don't want it, like if it hits something, it could strip it out. I'm not sure, but that's how it was when I took this piece out. It was kind of loose in there. You can see this is what was originally in there, and it has play. I'm guessing just so that it's to keep it from breaking off. So I kind of tried to make it have a little play. So let me try to get this mounted, and then I can go ahead and put that in and mount the battery, and that should be it, and we could try it. All right, so here's what I came up with for the servo. I put this little like spacer here, kind of glued it on so that it sets at the right height that it needs to be to sit in the proper spot right there. And then I screwed 2 zip ties, screwed one here, and the opposite side I screwed it here. And then I'm just going to zip tie it in the middle. So hopefully that works. Man, I couldn't ask for more. That thing, it works perfect. So, yeah, I don't see any issue with it not working. So also, hopefully I don't get flamed too much in the comments or whatever, because, you know, people are going to say that I'm kind of like destroying a vintage Radio Shack RC car. To begin with, this car is not in that great a shape. It's, you know, somebody's had flipped it over a bunch of times. It's really scraped up. And I mean, yeah, I know that they're rare, and I'm not really damaging anything but the electronics. You know, just the electronics is all that I'm really modifying. So hopefully I'm making it better, you know. I mean, look at the suspension on this thing. Like this little spring there, that's the suspension. That's the entire suspension of the car. You know, it's so that's, I mean, it is what it is. I'm just doing it just as like kind of a novelty thing. So just to mess around with it and have fun. So yeah, let me go ahead and try to get the whole thing back together. I'm going to mount the servo. See, it should be pretty easy because once I get this in there, you know, mounted, once I get that mounted in there, all I got to do is just, you know, put the ESC and radio somewhere here and find a place for the battery. So we got this Lipo here. It might go up in the battery tray underneath, and then what I can do is I can feed it up through this little hole here, or rather feed this down through the hole, and then make it work that way. So all right, so everything's put back together. I just went ahead and like zip tied everything to the inside here, so it's nothing, you know, nothing can fall out. And yeah. So, and then I ran the two power wires in there, and I'm just gonna plug it in underneath there. And that's where I'm gonna mount the Lipo. So, all I got to do is put back these like wheel tubs here, and I can go ahead and put the body back on, and yeah, we'll give it a try. Oh yeah, and I mean, what are the chances that I had a pinion gear in my toolbox there? I had a pinion that fit perfect and with the correct amount of lash. Just has a little tick to it, and that's what you want. I mean, what are the chances? So it was meant to be. All right, so first test. Okay, this thing's way faster than was intended by the manufacturer. I'm gonna try to set the camera down so you guys can see it. Wait for this car to go by. Yeah, it's pretty much uncontrollable. Yeah, so as you can see, like you have to like roll into the throttle, just barely rolling into it. Otherwise it just lights the tires up, no matter how fast you're going. So yeah, I would say it's a success. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty fun. I mean, it has zero traction. I don't know if I could find new tires for it, but it's got zero traction. It's got very minimal suspension. The suspension is like, you know, not meant to go that fast, so it just can't handle the power. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And yeah, I guess that's my thing. You know, I like to put you know, like Japanese parts in American cars. You know, this is a Radio Shack American car, and we put a Japanese motor in it, and we got a Japanese motor in this thing. So, but anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was something different and kind of fun, but yeah, this would be cool to play with every once in a while. So yeah, hope you guys like the video, and see you next time.